Ever wonder who created the law of gravity, calculus, published a book that changed history, or discovered why the Earth is round? Hi, I'm Lauren Lynn, and you are watching. And today we will be talking about Isaac Newton. Who was Isaac Newton? And no, I'm not talking about the man who created the Fig Newton bar. Isaac Newton was one of the greatest mathematicians, scientists, and revolutionists of the 17th century. He was born prematurely on a farm in Lincolnshire, England on Christmas Day. His father, Isaac Newton Sr., an illiterate farmer, sadly died before Isaac was even born, leaving his mom, Hannah Iscoff, and him alone. When Newton was 3, his mother remarried, so she sent Isaac to live with his grandmother. This made Isaac so angry that he even wanted to burn his stepfather's house down. At the age of 12, Isaac was sent to the King's School in Grantham, where he learned the classic subjects except for math and science, the two fields he made discoveries in. When Isaac was 15, his mother wanted to pull him out of school to become a farmer, but luckily for the world, his headmaster stepped in and Isaac stayed in school, graduating at the age of 19. In 1661, Isaac Newton went to Cambridge University Trinity College to earn a law degree. There he was taught about the ideas of Aristotle and Plato, whose works were incorrect. Isaac Newton questioned these teachings and studied more about Galileo's works, which were more scientifically correct, leading him to want to make his own discoveries. According to Isaac Newton, Plato is my friend, Aristotle is my friend, but my greatest friend is truth. In 1664, Newton received a 4-year scholarship to Cambridge, and in 1665, 1 year into his scholarship, he discovered the generalized binomial theorem, which shows what a binomial looks like when multiplied by itself based on the exponent. In the same year, he earned his bachelor's degree, all at the age of 22. Unfortunately, in 1666, Isaac Newton had to leave Cambridge to his grandparents' manor because an outbreak of the bubonic plague had shut down the school. But this did not stop Newton's expanding mind, and on his grandparents' farm he experimented with white light and a prism, which led to his discovery that many colors made up white light. After the plague had subsided in 1669, Isaac went back to Cambridge to get his master's degree and replaced Professor Isaac Barrow as the Lucasian Professor of Mathematics. Sadly, in 1679, Isaac's mother died, leaving Isaac with a small fortune. With this money, he moved to London to continue his research. He also became the president of the Royal Society of London for Improving Natural Knowledge, which was a group of the best scientists in England. Isaac Newton is very famous for being an apples man. The story goes that Isaac Newton was sitting under an apple tree on his grandparents' farm when an apple falls on him. This causes Newton to question the reason behind the apple falling, leading to him creating the law of gravity and Newton's 3 laws of motion. However, Newton didn't actually miraculously come up with these laws. It took him 20 years to come to a conclusion. Throughout those 20 years, Newton created the 3 laws of motion. The first law is known as inertia, and it states that something will stay at rest or at motion unless affected by an outside force. The second law states that force equals mass times acceleration. And the third law states that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. Isaac Newton also created the law of gravity, which is the force that an object has on the objects around it. And gravity is from the word gravitas, which means heavy in Latin, because the gravitational pull is stronger if the objects are heavy. This idea also led to Isaac concluding that gravity affects all objects from an apple to the moon, and that is why the Earth is round. In 1687, Isaac Newton released his ideas into the world by publishing Principia, which contained the law of gravity, his mathematical discoveries, today called calculus, and his theories on light with his telescope that used mirrors to reflect instead of lenses to refract light. And now it's time for the open letter. Dear Isaac Newton, why did you have to make 2 very hard subjects, physics and calculus? I understand that by the age of 27 you were a professor and had made many mathematical discoveries, but couldn't you have cut some slack for us mortals? Thanks for making school that much harder. Best wishes, Lauren Lynn. On April 16, 1705, Newton was finally recognized for his achievements and was knighted by Queen Anne. And on March 31, 1727, Newton died in his sleep at the age of 85. Today, Isaac Newton is still influential. We study calculus, and his law of gravity and motion are very key elements in the scientific world. He was a revolutionist in both his and our time.
created using Powtoon.